All right, so we're going to be doing both math lesson 12-6, and we're also going to be doing our chapter 5, lesson 6 quiz right now, okay? 12-6. So topic 12, we're on geometry. Equal shares, different shapes.
How can this rectangle be divided into 3 equal shares? You can draw lines to make 3 columns. You can also draw lines to make 3 rows. Is there any other way this rectangle can be divided into 3 equal shares? You can draw lines to make 3 equal shares with different shapes, too. How do you know that these are also 3 equal shares?
So let's look at all of these different shapes, okay? Imagine these are all candy bars, okay? And I'm going to split it up evenly between the class. The person who gets this one, the person who gets this one, and the person who gets this one, are they all the same amount? Let's say I give Billy this one, I gave Sarah this one, and I give Maddie this one, okay? Do they all get the same amount? Do they all get the same amount of chocolate?
No.
Why do you
No.
Why do you think no?
Because that one is a little bit smaller than all the longer ones.
Okay, so someone says no because one looks bigger than the other ones. Does anyone else have any other ideas?
Miss Pope. Because they're all different shapes.
So some of you
Pope.
Okay, let's stay on task, okay? So what some of you guys are saying they're not equal because they're different shapes. Anybody else have an idea? No? Okay, let's go ahead and look at those again. Okay, I'm gonna draw them. I'm gonna go ahead and line them up again.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, now
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
I hear someone counting. Now let's look at them again, but this time let's look at each of these squares. Now, each of these squares and each of them are the same exact size. So Billy gets this bar of chocolate. How many pieces of chocolate does Billy get?
3.
How about Sarah?
3.
And what about Maddie?
3.
So even though some of you guys said, well, they're different shapes. Some of you said, well, they're different sizes. Each of those squares are the same exact size. So even though this one might look bigger, even though they're different shapes, are all 3 students actually getting the same amount of chocolate?
Yes.
Yes, they're all getting the same amount,
Yes.
which is 3 squares. Very good.
Each share has 3 small rectangles, so they are equal shares.
So they're equal.
What are some things that are the same about these 3 rectangles? The rectangles are the same size and shape, and each of the 3 rectangles has 3 equal shares. What is the same about all of the shares? What is different? Each share has 3 small rectangles, so they all have the same area, but they have different shapes. Equal shares can be different shapes.
All right, so let's look at our let's look at our, I can't even remember what it's called, reteaching. Let's look at our reteaching and then let's look at our practice and then we're gonna work on our digital quick check. So go ahead and everybody take out your reteaching. Okay, let's look at that reteaching first. Here we go. You can divide a rectangle into equal squares. The equal shares can be different shapes. I'm sorry, you can divide a rectangle into equal shares. For shares to be equal, they must be the same size. This rectangle shows 2 equal shares. So even though they might not have the same shape, even though they don't have the same shape, they look different, they can still be the same size. You could still give the same amount of chocolate to every person. So let's imagine this is like that Hershey's chocolate bar that comes with the squares. Imagine if you cut this up and you give the red amount to yourself and you give the blue amount to your friend. Okay? You guys each get the same amount of chocolate. How many pieces of chocolate did each person get here?
3.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Each person got 3 pieces of chocolate. So did you guys each piece is the same size. So if you got 3 and they got 3, did you guys both get the same amount? Did you get equal amounts?
Yes.
Very nice.
Yes.
Okay. Let's go ahead and look at questions numbers 1 and 2. Draw lines to divide the rectangles into equal shares. Write the number of squares in each share. So this one, you can either go up or down, doesn't matter. So I'm going to split it up like this. If you're just using a pencil, you can just divide it up. Nicholas, don't draw on my screen. Okay. And then I'm going to give the red one to myself and the blue one to my friend. Okay. So how many pieces of chocolate am I going to eat?
2.
And then how many does my friend get to eat?
2.
2. So how many squares are in each equal share?
2.
2. You get the same amount.
Yes.
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 Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna split this up now, and I'm gonna do something different. I want to split it up like this. Okay, so I'm gonna give this person this shape. And then I'm gonna give the other person the other shape. So the first one, it has more on the top and then just 1 on the bottom. And the second person gets only 1 on top and then more on the bottom. Now, how many does the first person get? How many pieces of chocolate did I give to the first person?
4.
And then how many did I give to the second person?
4.
4. So even though the shapes look different, do they still each get the same amount of chocolate?
Yes.
Yes, they both got how many pieces of chocolate?
4.
4. Very good. Okay, so I'm going to move on to our practice now. So number 1 was 2, number 2 was 4. Yourselves muted until you're sharing. Thank you. Okay, now let's look on to the practice. Draw lines to show 2 different ways to divide the rectangle into 3 equal shares. So for number 1, you're dividing it between 3 people. We're trying to figure out how we can divide this into 3 people. So let's first count how many there are. So I'm going to count them first. Ready? 1, wait, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ooh, so there are 12 pieces. So to divide them equally between 3 people, what I can do is I can make 2 lines first. So that's what I'm going to start off with. I'm going to draw 2 lines to cut this into thirds. So here's my rectangle, and I'm going to cut it into thirds. Now, how many pieces does each person get if I cut this into thirds?
4.
They each get 4 pieces. So Billy gets 4, Sally gets 4, and Tristan gets 4. Okay, now we need to show another way. We need to show another way to split it up. So we now know that each person gets how many chocolate pieces?
4.
4. So I'm going to make it into different ways. I'm going to do one like this. I'm going to color in 4 boxes for Tristan. So there's my 4 for Tristan. You can count it to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there's 4 for Tristan. I'm going to give 4 to Sally. I'm going to make Sally's like this. Oops. I'm going to make hers yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then to make sure that I give Sally 4, I'm also going to check mark this too. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there's 4 for Sally. And then, so what am I going to do with this square, this last 4? Who am I going to give that one to? Oops. I'm going to give it to Billy.
Billy.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I want to make sure that they all got the same amount. I'm going to use a different stamp. I'm going to use the heart. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's see. Tristan got 4 chocolate pieces. Okay, that was the 4 check marks. Sally got 4 X's. That would be 4 chocolate pieces. And Billy got 4 hearts. That would be 4 chocolate pieces. So how do you know that the shares are equal? How do I know that I gave the same amount to each person?
By counting.
By counting
By
what?
counting.
Each person got how many pieces?
4.
Got 4 pieces. So I made sure that it was equal because each person got 4 squares and each square is the same amount. So if they each get 4, then it's equal. Now, how many squares are in each equal share? We already put that in that answer. So how many?
4.
4. And then the last question is, which rectangle does not show 2 equal shares? So let's count them. Here we have 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. Is that equal? Does each person get the same amount?
Yes.
Yeah, so it can't be A because A is equal. We're looking for the one that's not. Okay, let's look at B. 1, 2, 3, 1. So one person gets 3 chocolate pieces. One person gets 1 chocolate piece. Is that equal?
No.
No, so it must be B. But before we circle it and move on, let's check to make sure the other 2 don't make sense. Number C, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Does each person get the same amount?
Yes.
And then number D, 1, 2, 1, 2. Does each person get the same amount?
Yes. Yes.
Nice. So the only one that it's not equal is B. How could we make that equal? There's 4 pieces of chocolate. One person got 3, one person got 1. How can we make that equal?
You can put it on the middle. Split it in half.
Very good. So then how many pieces would each person get?
4. 2.
Good job. You guys are really good at this. All right, moving on. We are now going to work on our digital quick check. If you need more time with this, I will go ahead and put the answers. Well, I guess I could leave it like that too. But the answers will also be in the video and you guys can watch that later. Okay, I'm gonna assign your digital quick check right now. And then right after we do your digital quick check, we're gonna work straight onto history. So we can work on this together. Okay, let's get started with our digital quick check and then we'll go straight to math. I'm sorry, history. If your page looks different, no worries.
Mia divided this rectangle into 2 equal shares. How many squares are in each share?
So she's sharing it with just one other person because Mia divided it into 2 equal shares. So because she's dividing it between 2 people, you can just draw a line straight down the middle. So this one would be Mia's piece. And then this one could be her friend's piece. So how many squares does she get and how many squares does her friend get?
5.
5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Mia. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for her friend. So how many squares are in each share? You would say 5 pieces.
Kathy divided this rectangle into 3 equal shares. How many squares are in each share?
So she's going to cut this into thirds. So luckily, they already have these lines for us. So there's our lines. So here's one share. Here's another share. So this is thirds. She cuts them into 3 equal pieces. So she's sharing with 3 friends. She's sharing with herself and 2 other friends. So then how many squares does each person get?
2.
2. Each person gets 2 pieces. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So your best answer is A. Keep yourself muted after you share.
Mark divided a rectangle into 4 equal shares. Which could not be Mark's rectangle?
Okay, so we need to make sure that they're equal. So we need to have 4 equal shares. So let's make sure. So there's 1 for one person, 1 for one person, 1 for one person, 1 for another person. So there's altogether 4 here. Okay, let's see here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces here. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces here. So all of them were split into 4s, but one of them they're not equal. The pieces are not equal. So let's check now by counting inside of the boxes. So here, each person in this one gets 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's see if this person, each person should get 3. So let's see, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so A is not the right answer. B is not the right answer because those are equal. C, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's not C. So it must be D. Let's check. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Oh no, look at D. If you look at those black lines, for D, one person only gets 1 piece. 2 people get 2 pieces. And the 1 person gets 3 pieces. So is D equal? Are those equal shares?
No.
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 If I got a chocolate and I said I was going to share it with everyone, and I gave you just 1 piece, I gave another person 2 pieces and another person 2 pieces, and I gave myself 3 pieces, would you, and I said, okay, guys, we all got the same amount. What would you guys say to me?
It's uneven.
It's uneven. You gave yourself 3 pieces. She only got 2, he only got 2, and I only got 1. That is not equal, Miss Park. And I would say, oh, sorry. And then I could split it up so that everyone gets just 2 pieces. Equal.
Tom divided this rectangle into 4 equal shares. How many squares are in each share?
Okay, so we need to split them up into fourths. Luckily, this already does it for us. We have one here, split it up, one here, and one here. So it already splits it up for us. So that's 1 part, 2 parts, 3 parts, 4 parts, okay? So now let's go ahead and color them in to see how much each person eats. So the first person gets to eat this much. The second person gets to eat this much. The third person gets to eat this much. And the fourth person gets to eat, this much. So how many squares, how many squares does each person get to eat?
3.
3. 1, 2, 3 in each one. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So the best answer is B. Last question before we move on to history.
Jessica divided a rectangle into 3 equal shares. Which could not be Jessica's rectangle?
Okay, so let's see. A, here's 3 pieces here. 1, 2, 3. Here's 3 pieces here. 1, 2, 3. Here's 3 pieces here. 1, 2, 3. And then here's 3 pieces here. 1, 2, 3. So they're all 3 shares, but now we need to find the one that's not equal. Just by looking at it, can you guys tell me which one is not equal?
A.
A, let's check. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Uh-oh. One person gets 6 pieces and the other 2 people only get 3 pieces. That is not equal. So
Yeah.
it must be A. B is equal. Let's see. Everyone gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So everyone here gets 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On C, how many pieces does every person get?
3.
3.
3.
And then what about D? How many pieces does each person get in D?
3.
No,
3.
6. 1, 2,
6.
3, 4, 5, 6. So the only one where they don't get equal pieces is A. All right. So that was your math. What we're going to do now is we are going to now look at your history. We are now going to look at your history quiz that you guys reviewed yesterday. If you need to review what we talked about yesterday, you can go ahead and re-watch yesterday's history video. It was also combined with your math video, so you'll have to just scroll down to the end of it. We are on chapter 5, lesson 6. And this is the last lesson in chapter 5. So next week, what we'll do is we're going to be doing a whole chapter review. All right, let's go ahead and look at the answers. Okay, what is true about heroes? They are rich and famous. They can live in our communities. They don't share their talents. They care about helping only themselves. What is true about heroes?
They live in our communities.
They live in our communities. Very good. Anyone can be a hero. You can be a hero when you help clean up around your home. Your parents can be heroes when they donate to people who need help. Heroes share their talents. They don't not share them. Like those kids, if they were good at singing, then they sang for people. You don't have to be rich and famous to be a hero. Anyone can be a hero. And they care about helping themselves only? No, they care about helping others, like people in their community. Number 2, what might a first responder do? So first responders are like EMTs, like ambulance people who drive in the ambulance. It is policemen. It is firefighters. So what does a first responder do? They help in an accident. They play music for a crowd. They paint a picture for the community, or they write a book to help deal with a problem.
Help in an accident.
They help in an
Help in an accident.
If you are
An accident.
or if you see an accident, then you call the first responders. You would call 911, and then they help with that accident. So like if you ever see like, if anyone ever gets into like a car accident, or if you see a car accident, people call 911, and then the firefighters and the policemen and the ambulance will come and they'll help those that are in the accident. How can you make a difference in your community? You can ignore a bully, pick up litter on the playground, ask for money when you help someone, draw on the walls and benches in your town.
Pick up litter on the playground.
What is litter? Does anyone know what litter is?
Trash.
Trash.
Trash on the floor.
If you ask for money when you help someone, then you are not volunteering. Volunteering is when you don't do it for money. You do it for the common good to help someone. Ignoring a bully, we don't ever want to ignore a bully. We want to stand up to bullies or tell a teacher and speak up by telling an adult. Drawing on the walls and benches is not something you would want to do. So that's something that is against the rules. So picking up litter or trash on the playground. 2 more questions. Which of the following is a community problem? So something in the community that you could help fix. The winter is very cold. Your best friend just moved to a new town. Someone is picking the neighborhood flowers. Math class is very difficult and you have a bad grade. So which one is a community problem? Something you might see in your own community.
Somebody is picking the neighborhood flowers.
Very good. It is not A. It is not A. The winter is very cold. There's nothing you can do about the weather. The weather is something that you have no control over. So that's not a problem we can fix. Your best friend just moved to a new town. Well, that might be a problem in another community. Maybe she's worried and that she won't make friends. So maybe in that other community, but that's not a community that you're currently in. So that's not a problem in your own community. Math class is very difficult and you have a bad grade. Now that is a you problem. That is a problem that you need to work out with your teacher and with your parents. That's not something in your own community. It's not something that affects everyone. Someone is picking the neighborhood flowers. That's a community problem. The neighborhood flowers is there for everyone to enjoy so that everyone can see the beautiful flowers and they can smell them and it makes their neighborhood prettier. If someone is picking them, then those flowers are going to die. People can't enjoy them. And that's not something that you're supposed to be doing. So someone is picking the neighborhood flowers. Now that's a problem in the community. Now, what is a solution to that? If someone is picking flowers in your community, how can you fix that problem?
Put a gate around the flowers.
You can put a gate around it, a sign saying, please do not pick our neighborhood flowers. Or you can ask them, say, hey, we all want to enjoy those flowers. Can you please not pick them? Okay, last question. Imagine your town needs more trees. How can you solve that problem? Work as a team to get trees planted. Stay indoors out of the hot sun, call the police and report the problem, complain and wait for someone to help.
Work as a team to get the trees
planted.
Very good. Imagine your town needs more trees. What can you do to solve that problem? Work as a team. Maybe you can say, okay, why don't we go raise money? So then you guys work together to raise money. Maybe you wash cars, maybe you make cookies, maybe you have a fundraiser, and then you guys can help buy the trees. Then your parents can go to Home Depot and they can buy trees there. And then your community can come and the moms and the dads and your uncles and your aunts can come and you can help with your shovels and you guys can dig and you guys can plant some more trees. So you can work as a team to get trees planted. All right, guys. That is it for today. Ooh, it looks like question number 4 is a bonus question again, so you can get over 120%. So
That's a bone. Do you know what that is called?
a bonus question. Very good.
It's
So
called a bonus word.
awesome. So 12-6 is math quiz. 5-6 is your history. You need to do both of those in Savvis Easy Bridge. Okay. There are some of you guys who I need to talk to because you have missing work. If for those of you who have everything completed, if you have everything completed and then you do both of your quick checks and your quizzes, then you will be free to go.